Okay, I think that should be good. So the first question that I have is, how did you get into the industry and how did you get into music just in general?
Well, my industry story is a little long, but I'll edit it down so that it's palatable. I started playing the bass guitar because my stepfather had a guitar that he had broke the top two strings off. So it was only 4 strings left. And so from there, I went and saved enough money to buy myself a bass guitar from Montgomery Ward's and started kind of just playing along with songs and eventually bought myself, excuse me, a better bass. At the time I was in high school or kind of middle school, and all my friends were musicians and also athletes. So we were all athletes. I was an athlete. And so my senior year, I got hurt playing football. And I decided to devote more time into being a full-time musician. And we played around local clubs and little gigs that we would manufacture ourselves. And eventually that turned into what the world knew as the time. Prince swooped us up and, gave us an opportunity with Morris to become a national act. So we became the Time. During that time, very few people know it other than what I've told, but our pay scale was pretty low. Like we made like $150 a week. We were in a national act and we were world famous. So we went on from there and, we had some fallouts about not getting properly compensated and decided to go to Los Angeles. And, I said who wanted to come, and my partner, Jimmy Jam, said, yeah, I'll come. And said, where we're going to stay? I said, we'll find some people to stay with, and we did. And we went out there and forged out a couple opportunities in terms of production. And with that production, that turned into an opportunity to work at Solar Records with a group called Climax. And from there, we got the opportunity to work with Leon Silvers, who did one of our songs on a group called the SOS Band, which was High Hopes, which led us to Clarence Avant and the opportunity to produce the SOS Band, which during that project, we were on our second tour with the Time, and we missed a gig in San Antonio, Texas, and proceeded to get fired later on that summer. And that same night, we mixed our first #1 song, which was Just Be Good to Me by the SOS Band. So we kind of walked our way into the industry in a haphazard way, but a really fun way. I would say very happy that Prince, I don't say fired, especially anymore. I say he freed us to pursue our destiny. So there's always a bigger door waiting for you somewhere.
And I know recently you and Jimmy Jam partnered with the Black Music Coalition to give a $5,000 grant to an emerging artist or producer. So why do you feel it's important to support emerging Black artists and industry professionals?
Well, let me just preface that by saying, yeah, that is a great opportunity that we've been able to forge out. And we always are on the trail of giving back because music has blessed us and our families. And we're so happy and able to do things for other people. So the fact, excuse me, that the Black Music Coalition came about and wanted to do something with us, that's a wonderful thing. But it's just not Black musicians, it's all musicians. We try to give back to all musicians, but the Black Coalition, being that it is a coalition made of Black people, it wants to do something for its own, to me, which is nothing wrong with that. But, our whole concept of the music business when we got in it was to make it better, a better place before we get out. So we just want to make things a little bit simpler, maybe, or better for other people that come along behind us. And you know, so far we've had good luck with that. But the industry's changed so much now, so I don't know where it's going to go from here. But we've been able to enlighten a lot of people as to how powerful and how meaningful music is in their lives. You know, what's a day without music? If you take music, music sells everything but music itself. If you take music out of movies, what would that movie be like? If you take music off the radio, off commercials, what would your life be like? If you couldn't say the things that you wanted to say, there's no song to help you say it, what would life be like? So music is always important. Music is always the first there to help in any kind of situation where there's something catastrophic or negative that happens in the world. Music is always there to help. Farm aid, with AIDS, with whatever that musicians can do and what people that do music can do, they're always there to lend that hand or lend that voice. So music is so powerful. We just want to give back all the time.
I love that. That's amazing. I think that's such an eloquent way to put it as well. It felt like it could be lyrics of a song.
Yeah, well, it's music is the divine art.
Absolutely.
You know, and I really don't understand people and how they look at music in a negative way. Music is always rebellious. It speaks for those who can't speak for themselves. It soothes us when we are down. It makes us feel good when we want to party. I mean, music does everything for us. And you know, the shame in it all is that we don't respect music. And I always say, like, music sells everything but music itself. Mm-hmm. And you know, we have to respect music enough to actually want to consume it and actually purchase it, because it costs a lot to make it. And the people that make it are working really hard to do it well. And we have to give them an incentive to continue doing that. So we don't want to cheapen it and make it just, it's not a money grab, but you know, we can't treat it like a utility. And what I mean by that, we treat air and water like utilities. It's always great when you have it, but the minute you can't breathe, then you're sucking for air. You wish you would have kept the air cleaner. Or the minute you can't get a drink of water, you wish you had some fresh water to drink, to take a bath, to take a shower, to cook with. Because when those things go away, you take away oxygen, you can't live. You take away water, you can't live. But we treat them like utilities, like they don't really matter because they're always available. But what if? So before it's too late, we have to treat things with the proper respect, whether or not it's a utility. You know, the fact that you can pay $9 a month and have all the music you want forever, there's something wrong with that, unless everybody pays $9 a month. But that's not what happens. You know, everybody uses their other friend's password. Everybody wants something for nothing.
I realized, so do you guys mind if I ask an extra question instead of the, I realized I don't, other than that you work with the Black Music Coalition, know what it is exactly that you do in the music industry, if you don't mind talking about that a little bit.
Well, I am a music producer, but I will back that up, that train, that's a little further down the track. I am a musician first. I played with the group called The Time with Morris Day. And we were signed by Prince. I am a songwriter second. My partner and I were inducted, I think 4 years ago, into the Songwriter Hall of Fame. Written songs for everybody, Janet Jackson, Boyz II Men, Herb Alpert, you name it, we've done it. Michael Jackson, and just this year, I mean, we've 5-time Grammy Award winners as producers, which is my 3rd gig. And just a couple weeks ago, we were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
And congratulations.
Thank you. So that's kind of my resume in a nutshell. It's a bunch of other stuff in between there, but
I'm sure.
that's the wrap up.
Beautiful. That's amazing. So I guess
you.
my scheduled questions. So you talked about how your entrance into the music industry kind of happened for you in a lot of ways, but I'm sure you've helped usher and guide lots of people into it as well. So what would you say are some of the most crucial first steps to get in and start working?
Well, love the music more than you love yourself. Is it takes that. You know, it doesn't pay you, you pay it in the beginning. And it's one of those things that you just have to get comfortable with that. And that's one of the keys in life, you know, get comfortable being uncomfortable. Because if you're going to be a musician, it's going to be a bit uncomfortable. Nobody believes that you can go out and make a living doing music. You know, my mother still thinks I probably need to get a job, but and I've done pretty well. So with that in mind, I say, love the music, study, because you're only as tall as the shoulders you stand on. So you have to go and you have to know who came before you, what you like, what you didn't like, in order to formulate your concepts of what's important and what's not. Knowing the players who are involved. Can't play chess unless you know the rules. You can't be, you know, playing chess and using checker rules. So you got to know the players, you got to know the companies, you got to know who runs the companies, how they run the companies, what kind of artists they sign, what kind of artist you are, understanding that, being realistic to what you have to offer, because every single one of us have something special to offer. You just have to figure out what that is. Everybody can't be a musician. Everybody can't be a songwriter. Everybody can't be a singer. Everybody can't be an artist. But in lieu of that, if you love music enough, you find a way to fit in or fit out, whatever you want to call it. You know, we still need accountants, lawyers, doctors, dentists. We need everything associated with life. And you can still love music and do all those different things. So I would say just important to know where you stand in the whole thing and what your value is. That's the hardest thing in life to pretty much discern, is knowing your value, knowing when to say, no, that's not enough for me.
Absolutely. Yeah. That is a hard thing to learn, but I understand how it is extremely crucial. So I guess the second question would be, what do you think are the most important personality traits, or I guess alternatively skill sets, to be really successful?
Amnesia is probably the first and foremost, because you have to forget all the naysayers. You have to forget all the no's, all the negative, you know, rants that people have to tell you what you can't do. Because if you believe you can, you have to believe you can. You can't allow those people to sway you. You'll never do anything in life if you listen to other people. No one knows what shoes you're walking in. And you're not walking in any other shoes of people that came before you, but you are standing on their shoulders. All the information is there for you to succeed. All you have to do is seek it out, find it, and figure out how to fit yourself into a situation where your talent shine the most. So I say amnesia is absolutely the most important trait that you can have. You have to forget and forgive those who say you can't, because they should only usher you into a state that makes you go harder the other way.
That's such a great answer. I've never heard that, but absolutely, absolutely true. Thank you.
No problem.
Okay, so my first question is that I know earlier you said that you're like, we're all unsure of where the industry might be headed. But what is one thing that you would hope like improves within the industry in the next like couple years?
Um, choices that the industry makes for its artist and its art. I think streaming is extremely good. It can be extremely good for everyone, but excuse me, it's cut the resources for artists down extremely terribly, like a lot. And I just overall want more people to be able to make a living at music, so that only makes music better. You understand? So when you can make a living at things, it makes you extremely comfortable and allows you to pour more into it. Although starving gets you there. When you get the reality of having a family, you can't starve your family, because those two just don't happen to work well together. So I just wish the resources would revert into a area where songwriters, producers, and artists can actually make a living at making music again. Because the unfortunate part of it is, though I love music and I work at it every day, have done that for the last 40 something, almost 50 years. I wouldn't suggest my kids go into it. And that hurts me. Unless they love music like I do. So music for me is like oxygen. Mm. So if I had a wife or a woman that told me that you love your music more than you love me, I would have to tell her, no, I don't love it more than I love you, but I have to breathe. It's like oxygen. So it's part of me, and then you should love anything that I love for me, if you love me. So it's one of those things that it doesn't compare to anything else, but people always try to kind of compare it to something else that they can comprehend, because when you love something that much, you're passionate about it that much, they want to be ahead of that for some reason. I'm like, why? And it's like, I love music more than what my kids, they don't even equate. Like, I don't, I do music. That's what I do for a living. It is not who I am. It's just a part of me. It's like I said, it's like breathing and exhaling and singing is just part of what I do, being creative like that. And I can love other things as well, but I don't love them the same, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, I definitely hope that hopefully in the future that the industry allows for more people to be able to explore that passion, like safely, like you said. So yeah.
Yeah, and it's, sweetheart, it is never safe. You're gonna have to give a pound of flesh. That's just kind of what it takes, but that's okay. That, to me, that truly lets you know that you really want to be there. It's like some of my kids are really good musicians and really good with music and writing and that kind of thing, but they never wanted to give the pound of flesh. So, that's kind of the proof. You don't want to give it if you don't have to, but if you have to be willing to.
That makes sense. Yeah. My last question would just be, based on your experiences now, if you could give your past self one piece of advice, what would you say to your past self?
Don't change a thing. Don't change a thing. There's a scripture that I share with people all the time. I think it's Matthew 6:26 through 36. Do not worry. Therefore, I tell you, do not worry about your life, what you will eat or drink, or about your body, what you will wear. Is life not more important than food, and your body more important than the clothes? It starts there. So when you're going about these things, you're worrying about what's going to happen in the future. And we're pursuing at that point what I say is a destination, because we're trying to arrive at this place. But the dream is way better than the destination, and the journey is way better than the destination. And I feel so blessed. I hope I never arrive, because the journey takes you everywhere and into everything, into every possibility. And just pointing at that destination is a very it's kind of not a really good thing, because it's a very narrow view of everything. I don't succeed unless I hit that little target. No, it's all the people that you meet. It's all the things that you experience. It's all the places that you go. It's all the things that you create. The journey is way more important than the destination. So, that would be my take on that.
Yeah, thank you. I wholeheartedly agree. I think that was really good advice.
That's all the questions we have. I just want to thank you again for doing this for us. Yeah, this is really good interview, really good questions and answers.
Yeah, no, it was great questions. But I wish you all the most happy success. And happy is a choice. But just choose to be happy. And success is what you define as your success. I define my success as what I set out to do. And if I'm able to do what I set out to do, doesn't really matter what other people think about it. So if they buy it, if they don't buy it, or if they like it or they don't like it, the success is me just being able to do what I wanted to do, and just to get that thought out, get that across, that creative bit into the world and give it birth. So that's how I define my success. It's all up here. And that way I don't get taken aback when somebody doesn't like what I do. Because what you do, everybody's never going to like what you do. So, we make music we like, and then we hope other people agree. And if you find enough people to agree, you're successful.
I think these are some of the best answers to these questions I've heard. Yeah, really, truly, thank you for taking the time and talking with us.
No, you're welcome.
How do I? Okay, I'm gonna stop.